All right, welcome back to another episode of Active Every Day. Today I want to discuss mobility specific to our knees. And we could just have this discussion for really any one of our joints, but I want to discuss the knees because it's such a common area of pain or restriction for a lot of clients as they get a bit older, or if they just haven't exercised in a while and we've got a bit of weakness around the musculature in our legs. It can actually show as some pain in the knees when we try different strength patterns. So as challenging as it may be to adapt into your daily routine or as a new habit for you, frequent movement to end ranges and then applying some strength patterns is the key to removing dysfunction in the knee. Get rid of pain, unlocking mobility, making movement a lot easier. It's frequency. We just have to show these knees they can move and move all the time. So here are some ideas and here are some things that I've been using pretty much my whole life that have allowed me to maintain through a lot of injuries as well, knee health. Okay, so the first thing is getting down onto the floor. Now I have a mat to make things more comfortable for me, and I also have things near me like a chair or a bench so I can lean and support my body. And I may also have something like a foam roller that I use like a cane. I can move it around and again, I can put my hands on it and use it to support my body. The first thing I want to talk about is getting our butt to our heels. And we could have our feet in a few different positions. We could have our toes curled under as we sit down. We could have our toes out as we sit down. Both are important and we need to spend time doing both, okay? So once I pick the foot position I'm gonna use, I just work on sitting my butt low. And what I'm working on is making sure my knees bend all the way that they can bend. We may experience discomfort in our fronts of our legs, in our knees themselves, even in our ankles from the pressure. All these areas are working with each other and against each other for mobility and function. So even though this is targeting our knees, we may feel a little in our ankles. Breathe, relax. If it gets to be too much, move away from it. Change the foot position. Sit back again. What we're trying to do is 5, 10 seconds, up to maybe 20 seconds of deep knee bending, sitting hips down, and then moving away, letting some blood and circulation come back into the area, and then go for it again, sitting back and down. So it's like a dynamic stretch. You can see I'm kind of wiggling side to side. I'm just encouraging movement down and over and back. I just want to open up my joints a little bit. I feel most of this restriction in my ankles. That's where I tend to be tight right now. But my knees have been doing really well. So I'll do one more rep. I got my toes curled under again. Again, I'm changing my foot position. I'm just working on sitting down. I've been holding this roller, kind of gives me balance. And another modification you can make, if it's too uncomfortable to sit all the way down, then we can put something back here, like the foam roller, or a pillow, or a rolled up towel that gives us a little bit of assistance once we come down a little bit and some support. And as your mobility and tolerance increases, then you could move that away and go without, or just use a smaller object. Okay, so that's the first one, getting our knees to bend a lot. The second variation, half kneeling, so I got one knee down, one knee forward, and my focus is to get my knee as far forward as I can over my toes. And so I'm gonna let my heel lift off the ground so that my toes can flex around, and I'm gonna rock forward. And you can see how my ankle joint and my knee joint change a lot. It's really open, it's really open. I just go forward. It's really closed off, small, and it's closed off, small. I'm just gonna go in and out of that 10 times. I do shift my weight forward, so I get some weight on my leg, but it's not the same amount as if I were standing or doing a squat or a lunge. And so I'm just slowly introducing the biggest range of motion I can move through and some load. We mentioned we need to become more mobile and flexible, and then we need to put some strength patterns on top of that mobility so that we can begin to own that new position. This is introducing some load with all of that big motion, okay? I'm gonna do a few more. I know I need 10, I've lost count already. Again, just knee forward. It's okay for the heel to come up. We want our toes to bend. Let's do 2 more. Got my foam roller here so I can use it for balance. There's a bench here, I can put my hands on that. Let's do 1 more. Excellent. And I would do the same thing for both sides, but for the video, I'm just gonna show the one side so we can move on. Okay, perfect. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is really focus on getting a nice good stretch on the front of this leg. And there's a few ways we can do that, okay? They're all of value. It just depends on what setup you can get yourself into. One is called a couch stretch. Couch stretch, all I need is a low surface like a bench or a chair or a couch. I'm gonna put my back foot on the surface. And then I'm gonna lower myself until my knee is on the floor. So this foot's pulled back, making this muscle a lot longer. So it's similar to the previous position, that half kneeling stretch. But now my focus isn't on my front knee and foot, it's on what I feel in my back leg. I wanna be tall, I wanna drive a bit forward. You can see how my knee is starting to get pulled backwards behind my hip. And now I get a nice good stretch here. I'm just gonna let that quad really stretch out. I can turn, I can reach and lean, and all these little movements may add some nice difference in stretch. Feel free to play around and move as you're in this, 30 seconds to a minute. Not only is forward gonna help stretch, but if we start to come backwards and we stay tall as we lean back, that may also present a nice good stretch. If you don't feel a stretch here when you come back and tall, it may be because your hip is dropping backwards. This needs to stay open, long, as we stay back. Okay, so those are 3 really good options. If that setup doesn't work for you for the stretch, then you can do a standing quad stretch. Again, hold on to something for balance. See if you can get a hold of your foot. Pull the foot back. Again, we're looking to stretch this right side. We want to try to get our knee to go backwards if we can. And again, you hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. All right, we started with kneeling on the floor, sitting our heels back, changing our foot position. We did a half kneeling, rocking forward, rocking backwards, and then we did a quad stretch. 2 options to choose from. If you got any issues with your knees, they feel stiff, they just don't feel strong, you don't have confidence, when you're standing up or down, you have discomfort, more than likely, you just need to add some of this therapeutic movement to your day. And if you can do it a few days a week, it's just gonna really increase the benefits. Try these exercises out, let me know what you think. Healthy knees, longevity, pain-free, stay active every day.